Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, April 23, 2025. So we start off with Kat and Kayla. So today is the day of the fundraiser for the hospital. It's looking really good, and Kayla is praising Kat and Chad for all their work on the fundraiser, and it's looking good, and hopefully that it will, produce great returns, right? So Chad is getting ready to go to fundraiser and he sees JJ, and JJ's on he's on his day off today, and he was asking JJ if he wanted to tag along, and he's like, he's not in the mood, and he's like, what's going on? So he said that him and Gabby had this big fight. He didn't tell Chad what it was about, but Chad said he's sorry to hear that, so he's suggesting that he should still come. It will be fun, lots of snacks and games and all that. So he's really not sure if he'll be enjoying it that much, right? So anyways, Chad's kids come and they're begging and pleading. They put it on the face for their uncle to come. So he said, you know what, why not? So they come to the fundraiser, and Kat and Kayla are there, and um that JJ really doesn't have much to say to Kat, so it's really awkward. But anyways, the kids are excited to get to the fundraiser, and Kat, they're talking, exchanging pleasantries, and Kat asked them if they would like their faces painted with their father's permission. So he said, why not go ahead, right? So Kayla's happy to see them, and they get to talking about EJ being out of a coma and all that. So she's asking JJ if there's any leads on who shot him. So JJ said they're still working on leads. They're working on trying to track down Ava, because Ava left town and all that. So it's gonna be really hard, but they're still doing what they can to find out any more information. So Stephanie and Alex are also getting ready for the fundraiser, but before that, Alex was really distracted. So Stephanie comes in, and Stephanie's asking him what's going on. So Alex says to her that, okay, I'm still thinking about what happened yesterday with Sarah and Xander, and how Sarah is hiding the secret from Xander. And he is wondering, when that come out, how that's gonna affect them. They're really doing their part to just keep it a secret from both, keep it a secret from Xander and protecting Sarah, but it's just a whole lot that's involved with that. So anyways, they start talking about the fundraiser, and Alex is an eligible bachelor for the day. So they're discussing their boundaries, and that he's only doing it for the hospital and all of that, and that was really that with them. So also, Javi and Leah are going to the fundraiser, and they were there at the home just looking over the bachelors, and they also want to participate in that, even though they're a couple. It's just for fun. So they were trying to inveigle Gabby into that and saying, why not do it, right? So Gabby's like, they're like, are you just loyal to JJ and all that? So she said this has nothing to do with JJ. I don't care about him. So she tells them about how he accused her of being the one to shoot EJ. So they're surprised about that. So they're saying, you know what, instead of the silent treatment, why not go to the auction? Why not go to the bachelor thing at the hospital fundraiser and stick it to him there, right? Go out with one of the eligible bachelors and enjoy your day, right? So she takes them up on that offer, and they go to the auction, and they sign up, to this bachelor thing. So it did go on, and Alex came out there, and Kayla, showcased his attributes and all of the assets. And, a lot of people were bidding for him. Started from, I guess, $500. Stephanie was one of them bidders, and Leo and Javi. And then, Gabby just showed them off by going from 10,000 to 50,000. So she was the one who won the date with the lucky bachelor for the day, right? So, once that was happening, JJ came in at that moment. And of course, it's like real petty, so she upped her price and all of that. So it was just to piss him off some more. So anyways, Javi and Leo talked to JJ and said, how does it feel for Gabby to go out with somebody, bidding all that money? At least she will be with somebody that's attractive, have all these attributes, and not will accuse her of being attempted murder and all that. So JJ, of course, he felt a type of way about that. But what can you really say, right? They got him. Stephanie and Alex go over to Gabby and they thank her for a big contribution to the hospital, and that it will definitely raise more awareness and all of that, help the hospital out. So she's happy about it. So she says to Alex, where should we go for $15,000 date? I have some ideas, so I'll let you know, right? So of course it's a little, I guess, awkward with Stephanie. Alex, of course she's gonna have to share a man for the day, but it is what it is, right? All for a good cause. Gabby thanks Kayla for allowing her to participate in this auction, and she's gonna definitely enjoy a $15,000 date. So she's rubbing this all in JJ's face, and Kayla saying, I take it she's not really happy with you right now, right? So, anyways, JJ goes over to Gabby and he's saying that $15,000 is a lot of money. I wish I had that amount of money to give to the hospital. So he says to her, enjoy her date. So she leaves, slams the door. So it's definitely not looking good for these two. So Kat is having a conversation with Chad's kids, and they're talking about if she has kids or would like kids. So she said one day she will like them, but she's hopeful that they will turn out as cool as them. So she's painting animal faces on them. They're getting along, and Chad sees them and he's smiling. So they invite him over to also get his face painted, and it was a cute moment between him and Kat. So at some point, they talk about this auction and explain to the kids what's going on with that. So I can't remember. So his daughter, right? His daughter is saying to him that she doesn't want to lose him. I guess she's still suffering from her mom not being here, as Chad explained to Kat after. So he explained to her that he's not going anywhere, and that you know Julie will look after her and play with her, and that he'll call her a lot of times, so she's not supposed to worry. So anyway, Stephanie comes over asking what's going on. So she tries to cheer them up, and she says there's a lot of games. So she took the kids, well, she took his daughter to go look at the games, and Chad's son, he asked if he could go to his uncle JJ to like look on his face painting. So he said, okay, go ahead. So then Chad get cleaner because he's also one of the eligible bachelors, and Kat looked at him and said that he looked good and he's good for the auction. So he gets a text also from Kayla saying that they raised $15,000 already. So they're happy that it's working out, and they were glad to have worked together, right? So it was a great moment between them. So Sarah and Xander also at the auction, well, at the fundraiser, and earlier Sarah had this bad nightmare of Philip coming over to the mansion and telling Xander the whole truth, and that Sarah was in on it as well, right? So anyways, it was just a bad dream, as sadly as we would hoped it not to be, right? So they go to the fundraiser to support, and they ended up seeing Philip. Of course, it's awkward between Xander and Philip, and Xander is like, what are you really doing here? So Philip said, I had to stay at the Sailor Man. I have to get my coffee somewhere. So anyways, he's like, I really don't want to see you. You should leave town. So he's like, you're not the only family. Like, I have my mom and cousins and all that. So it's like, they're better off without you. So anyways, JJ sees a commotion. JJ is like, what's really going on? So Xander is trying to press charge against him for fraud. So he's like, what kind of fraud? So he made up some kind of fraud, personal fraud, like defamation, products of the company, whatever. So he's like, sounds like a civil case that you have to go get a lawyer for. So he's like, yeah, I get that, but anyways, keep your eyes on him because I might murder him right here. So Sarah saying he has a weird sense of humor, don't mind him. So it's like, yeah, because I really don't want another attempted murder case on my eyes, right? So anyways, he leaves, and Sarah says to him, can you use some food? So he goes, to do that, right? So Philip is thanking her for, well, she was saying to him that she's sorry for how he's acting towards him, and he said, no, it's my fault, I caused all this, right? And I'm saying, like, I'm just tired of Sarah, the scared look on her face. She's not doing nothing. She's not trying to help the situation, and I'm just really over it right now. Unless she's telling the truth, I really would like to see less scenes with her, and that's how it is. But that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys tomorrow.